In the final months of 2025, Japan made a move almost no one noticed. No headlines, no fanfare, no diplomatic spectacle. Yet behind closed doors in Tokyo, a strategic shift was quietly set in motion, one that could redefine global manufacturing, critical minerals, and the balance of Asian power for the next decade. Japan, the world's third-largest economy and home to Toyota, Sony, Honda, and Panasonic, depends on minerals it does not produce. For years, the country relied heavily on China's refining dominance. But as geopolitical tensions mounted, Japan understood something essential. Its industrial future could not depend on a supply chain vulnerable to political pressure. And so, Japan began turning toward two countries that share something rare: trust, stability, and a proven partnership: Canada and Australia. Today, we reveal why Japan is betting on them, and not on China. Welcome to Geocapitalist, the channel where we decode how minerals, money, and diplomacy quietly reshape our world. In our last video, we revealed why Australia chose Canada over the United States. And today, we continue with a new analysis, explaining why Japan is quietly aligning itself with Canada and Australia for its future industrial security. If you enjoy fact-based geopolitical videos, make sure you subscribe. Let's begin. Japan's industrial machine is one of the most advanced on Earth, yet it rests on one of the most fragile foundations: a dependence on mineral refining that lies almost entirely outside its borders. Japan is a technological powerhouse without the geological base to sustain it. Its electric vehicle industry, semiconductor sector, aerospace firms, and energy transition plans all rely on materials that Japan does not mine in meaningful quantities. But even more concerning is where those materials are refined. For years, as Japan sought efficiency and stability, it turned toward China, because China provided the scale, the speed, and the prices the global market demanded. By the early 2020s, more than 80% of Japan's rare earth processing and a significant share of its graphite, gallium, and germanium inputs came from Chinese facilities. This dynamic worked until it didn't. Tokyo watched as geopolitical pressure mounted across Asia. It witnessed how gallium and germanium exports were restricted in 2023. It saw how economic tools could be deployed without warning, and it recognized that its industrial future could not hinge on a supplier whose strategic goals diverged so sharply from its own. Japan had already lived this story once. In 2010, a maritime dispute triggered an abrupt halt to rare earth shipments from China to Japan, forcing factories to scramble for alternatives overnight. That moment left a mark. By 2025, Japan's policymakers faced a stark conclusion. The country needed a new minerals strategy, one grounded in democracies that honored long-term commitments. This was not about rivalry, it was about resilience. And it pushed Japan toward two nations with the stability and credibility it desperately needed: Canada and Australia. Japan's pivot did not happen suddenly. It unfolded through a decade of quiet observation as the global landscape shifted. Tokyo watched Europe struggle with energy dependence, saw supply chains break during the pandemic, and understood how rapidly the world could be reshaped by political tension. For a nation built on precision and continuity, unpredictability became the greatest enemy. China remained an essential economic partner, but Japan recognized that over-reliance on any single supplier, especially one with a different strategic worldview, was a structural risk. The memories of 2010 lingered. Japanese automakers, battery firms, and electronics manufacturers still remembered the shock when rare earth exports were suddenly disrupted. That event became a case study inside ministries and boardrooms. Never again should a bottleneck in one country threaten Japan's entire industrial output. By the mid-2020s, China began prioritizing its own domestic high-tech industries. tightening certain mineral export quotas, and accelerating state-backed investment into strategic sectors. Japan respected these decisions but also understood their implications. If China directed more raw materials inward, international access would shrink, and Japan, already navigating complex regional dynamics, could not afford uncertainty. Tokyo needed partners whose long-term goals aligned with democratic stability and transparent markets. The turning point came when Japan observed a new development: the strengthening axis between Canada and Australia. Two nations with deep geological resources, world-class mining firms, and a shared commitment to environmental and governance standards. For Japan, this wasn't just attractive, it was logical. Canada provided the regulatory stability and refined materials Japan trusted. Australia provided the scale and speed Japan needed. Together, they formed an alternative supply chain strong enough to reshape Japan's mineral security for the next decade. Japan didn't turn away from China out of rivalry. It turned toward Canada and Australia out of necessity. For Japan, choosing Canada was not simply an economic decision. It was a strategic one rooted in trust, predictability, and long-term alignment. Canada offers something no other major resource nation can match: deep geological wealth paired with political stability and world-class governance. In an age where global supply chains can be disrupted overnight, Japan needed a partner whose institutions endure beyond election cycles, whose regulatory framework is transparent, and whose mining sector is respected worldwide. Canada fits that profile perfectly. Canadian nickel, cobalt, graphite, and rare earth deposits are essential to Japan's electric vehicle transition. But what Tokyo values even more is how Canada extracts, processes, and manages these materials. Environmental standards are clearer, ESG oversight is stronger, and indigenous partnerships function as long-term frameworks rather than obstacles. Japanese companies see this reliability as a form of industrial insurance, an assurance that supply will not hinge on sudden political shifts or opaque decision-making. Canada's stability is not only institutional, it is cultural. Across public and expert commentary, a consistent theme emerges. Canada represents diplomacy, humility, and responsible leadership. These qualities matter deeply to Japan, a nation that prioritizes continuity and mutual respect. Tokyo also recognizes Canada's role as a trusted G7 actor, one whose commitments carry weight. Moreover, Japan sees Canada as a gateway to the future. Investments in battery materials, hydrogen exports, clean aluminum, and advanced processing offer Tokyo something it cannot obtain elsewhere: a supply chain entirely within the democratic world. For a country seeking resilience rather than dominance, Canada is not just an option. It is the northern anchor Japan has been waiting for. If Canada is the anchor of Japan's new supply chain strategy, Australia is its engine. For more than half a century, Australia has been Japan's most reliable resource partner, supplying the energy and minerals that powered Japan's post-war economic miracle. While the world often focuses on Japan's advanced technology, its rise would not have been possible without Australian iron ore, coal, natural gas, and later lithium and rare earth elements. This is a relationship built on decades of uninterrupted cooperation, long-term contracts, and unmatched reliability. Japan respects Australia's mining scale. No other democratic nation matches its speed, volume, or consistency in extraction. When Japan needs large shipments of high-quality minerals delivered on schedule, Australia is the first call. This reliability is essential in industries like automotive manufacturing and electronics, where delays can shut down entire production lines. But Australia brings more than scale. It brings expertise. Japan recognizes that Australian geologists, engineers, and mining technologies are among the most advanced in the world. Many analysts note that Australia's experience is invaluable for discovering and developing new deposits in Canada's vast, underexplored regions. Tokyo understands that a Canada strengthened with Australian technical know-how becomes an even more resilient partner in the long term. Most importantly, Japan views Australia as a democratic pillar in the Indo-Pacific, one that shares its concerns about regional stability, strategic autonomy, and transparent resource governance. Australia's decision to deepen its partnership with Canada only reinforces Japan's belief that this emerging triad offers something rare: a supply chain system built on trust rather than leverage, predictability rather than uncertainty, and shared democratic values rather than geopolitical pressure. For Japan, partnering with Australia isn't a shift, it's a continuation. And now, in the mid-2020s, that partnership is expanding beyond the Indo-Pacific and into a global democratic minerals network. Together, Australia and Canada form the stable, transparent, long-term ecosystem Japan needs for the decade ahead. Japan's emerging alignment with Canada and Australia is not a coincidence. It is a convergence of three nations whose strengths complement each other with almost mathematical precision. For Japan, whose advanced industries rely on uninterrupted flows of high-purity minerals, no single partner can provide both the scale and the stability required for the next decade. But together, Canada and Australia build a supply chain architecture stronger than any alternative in the democratic world. Australia delivers what Japan needs at industrial scale: reliable extraction, rapid production, and decades of operational experience. Its mines already support Japan's battery, steel, and energy sectors. What Australia lacks in downstream processing and ESG transparency, Canada provides in full. Canada offers environmental credibility, political predictability, and clean processing capacity, qualities aligned with Japan's emphasis on long-term stewardship. Where Australia provides volume, Canada provides refinement. Where Canada builds trust, Australia delivers speed. Japan becomes the technological demand center that binds the entire system together. For Tokyo, this triangular structure creates a supply chain that is not just resilient, but democratic by design. No autocratic actor can disrupt it, no political shift can compromise it, and no external pressure can fracture it. This alliance reflects broader sentiment across expert analysis: trust, shared values, and continuity. Japan sees in Canada and Australia a level of reliability it cannot find elsewhere. In the 2020s, supply chains are no longer just economic systems. They are security systems, and Japan is choosing the partners who can guarantee both. Over the past 2 years, Japan has quietly begun reallocating investment capital toward partners that reinforce its long-term industrial resilience. While global attention focused on US-China competition, Tokyo was finalizing deals with Ottawa and Canberra designed to secure the minerals essential for its technological future. One major shift came in late 2024, when Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry expanded its Strategic Mineral Security Program, earmarking significant funding for partnerships with Canada and Australia. Several Japanese firms, Panasonic, Toyota Tsusho, Jogmec, and Mitsubishi, began increasing exposure to Canadian nickel, cobalt, and graphite projects. Tokyo also opened discussions with Canadian institutions on hydrogen exports, solid-state battery materials, and low-carbon aluminum, areas where Canada's clean energy policies complement Japan's industrial roadmap. In Australia, Japan doubled its commitments in lithium and rare earth ventures, reinforcing long-standing links with Western Australian firms. Analysts highlight Australia's unmatched geological expertise and Canada's processing leadership. two capabilities Japan sees as essential. The most significant development came in 2025, when Japan formally designated Canada and Australia as part of its preferred democratic supplier network, prioritizing their materials for future manufacturing systems. Japan is not abandoning old partners. It is constructing a diversified, resilient system capable of absorbing global shocks, and its strategic investments from 2024-2025 reveal a deeper truth. Japan is preparing for a world where mineral security defines industrial power. Japan's decision to pivot toward Canada and Australia is not a one-sided strategy. It creates value for all three nations in ways that reach far beyond mineral supply. For Japan, the benefits begin with industrial certainty. By securing reliable flows of nickel, cobalt, rare earths, and potash from trusted democracies, Tokyo strengthens the foundation of its automotive, electronics, and battery industries. These sectors cannot afford supply disruptions, and partnerships with Canada and Australia provide stability in a world defined by volatility. For Canada, Japan represents something uniquely valuable: disciplined, long-term demand backed by investment strategies known for transparency and reliability. Japanese firms bring technical expertise, patient capital, and a collaborative approach that complements Canada's ambitions to expand its downstream capabilities. Their involvement strengthens Canadian mining projects, accelerates clean processing technologies, and reinforces Canada's role as a dependable supplier within the G7. It elevates Canada from a resource exporter to a central node in a democratic mineral network. Australia also gains substantially. Japan has relied on Australian resources for decades, but the mid-2020s mark a deepening phase, where minerals essential to electric vehicles, renewable energy, and advanced electronics rise to the forefront of cooperation. Japan's continued investment provides Australia with long-term market stability, new processing opportunities, and greater influence within the Indo-Pacific's evolving resource landscape. This triangular partnership minimizes vulnerability, maximizes resilience, and forms the backbone of a mineral ecosystem capable of supporting the next generation of global industries. For Japan, the decade ahead means reducing strategic exposure while accelerating innovation. With reliable access to Canada's refined materials and Australia's extraction scale, Japan can pursue breakthroughs in hydrogen fuel, solid-state batteries, and semiconductor precision without fearing supply disruptions. For Canada, deeper ties with Japan open the door to high-value downstream industries, processing hubs, battery component factories, clean aluminum exports, and integrated research partnerships. These developments elevate Canada within the G7 as a minerals coordinator rather than simply a raw material supplier. For Australia, Japan's continued demand provides long-term stability and strengthens its leadership in the Indo-Pacific, where resource competition is intensifying. The broader impact is global. By strengthening supply chain independence, the Japan-Canada-Australia bloc reduces systemic vulnerabilities and offers an alternative model to minerals dominated by single-country refining. It becomes a stabilizing force in a world increasingly defined by economic turbulence. This is not a temporary alignment. It is the foundation of a new industrial order, one built on trust, transparency, and democratic resilience. And there you have it. The real reason Japan is betting on Canada and Australia, not China. If you gained clarity today, I invite you to watch the next episode, because the world is shifting fast, and every alliance tells a story. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps this channel continue delivering fact-based analysis. Thank you for being here, for your comments, and for your trust. See you in the next video.